If you've been part of the Amazon Influencer Program for any length of time, 30 days, 30 months, or 5 years like myself, then you know this thing is always changing. Amazon's changing, brands are changing, sellers are changing, listings are changing, placements changing. Everything is always in motion somewhere to some degree. And oftentimes we spend more time in Facebook groups and in communities trying to figure out what's the next play, what's the next program, what's the next thing that we should be doing, and it can distract us from the thing that matters the most, and that is creating the lifestyle that we want to live. And so I want to encourage you, first of all, to just put your horse blinders on, shut down all the noise, and just think about what is the lifestyle that you want to live, and what is it going to take to live that lifestyle. And that is your goal. That's the thing that you need to focus on. It's not looking at the guy who did 40K or the guy who did 30K months. It's what is your lifestyle, what does it cost, and what do you need to sustain that lifestyle. And this was the honest conversation that I had to have with myself about 4 years ago, a year into the journey of Amazon. And when I started in Amazon, it was all about live streaming. And so live streaming was the thing. Everyone was doing it. If you weren't live streaming, you weren't making money. And then Amazon came out and said, nope, we're going to do shoppable videos, short form, somewhere between a minute and 12 minutes. Got to keep it in that range. That's what we're doing now. And then that was the big thing for a while. And then it switched over to vertical video. So now everything was about the Inspire tab and how this little scrolly tab, kind of like TikTok or whatever, this little scrolly feed was going to come into play and it was going to change the game. Well, it came and it went. But there was a lot of money that was made, a lot of incentives by the program, but that quickly went away as well. And then it got kind of stagnant. Like there was just a year that I remember anyway of just like not a whole lot going on. There's not a lot of changes. It was just kind of smooth sailing for the most part, but the money was down, and I actually did like 8,000 less than I did the year before. But then there was creator connections, and connections came on the scene. We all kind of stepped back and looked at it and go, wait, 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 what is this? What does this mean? Do we own the content? Do they own the content? Do we get paid? Is this offsite or onsite? We didn't really know what was going on. And then some software started popping up. We had Viral View, we had Oink, started popping up on the scene, kind of doing the hard work for us and saying, no, you can submit content to these campaigns and start making money. So that's what we did next. And everybody starts making some money that way and making more money. Well, then there was the epiphany of reaching out to brands. And so everyone started just hammering these brands, send me free product, send me free product, send me free product. And then everyone now is kind of like, well, we shouldn't do that. We should, investigate the product a little bit, do a little bit of research, maybe even make some investments, do some comparison videos. So my whole point is this is all exhausting to try to figure out what is the next thing, what is the next pivot. But one thing that I've done differently over the last 4 years than any other Amazon influencer that I personally know is I focus on the brand first and then the platform second. And so what that did was has insulated my business from big changes. So when big changes, are made, my business isn't losing money. I've actually grown every year on the brand deal side, even if the Amazon influencer side didn't make as much, my overall business would still grow. And I did this by three different ways, really. It was the brand deal fee, the creator fee is what I call it. It was also the Amazon commission, and then it was in the resale of the product. Now, to some of you, that sounds like, that's a ton of work. I don't want to do that. I just want to upload the video and make money. But if you have a good system, you can scale this and be able to make more money oftentimes than you can, especially in the early days before you know how to research product, before you have money to invest. This is going to solve that problem for you and actually create cash flow in your business. Every business, the most important thing is cash flow, the money we make on top of all of our expenses. After everything's paid, the profit is what matters. And I know you get in these Facebook groups and everyone's showing revenue, but we want to see the profit. And actually, it doesn't really matter when you have your own system and your own business that you own and control, and you can turn the faucet when you want to. If I need to make more money this week or this month or this year, I'm going to do more brand deals. And I have ways to reach out to companies, to get into a relationship with different companies, to make the content that they want, and be able to turn that faucet up and work my own system to make more money by leveraging the program and not relying on the program. And so if you've been in this situation where you're income is up and down. Your videos are on the carousel, they're off the carousel. You're, trying to figure out the offsite game, and you're just kind of stressing out, going, "Is there anything that can just be consistent?" The answer is yes, and I've done it for the last 4 years. I've worked very closely with brands, and when the programs are changing and Amazon's changing and all this other stuff in the world is changing, those relationships don't change. Those relationships are built on trust, and they trust me to show up, make the videos the way they want them made, and I trust them to show up and pay me the way I want to be paid. And that creates cash flow in my business, and that is my base. And then Amazon income is the icing on the cake. So I have the cake, which is the creator fees that I charge, and then I have the icing on the top, and then I have the resale side of it. So that is where I have strategies for reselling to get rid of product quickly, to turn that into cash. And I often tell creators, like, if that product is sitting on a shelf, you should figure out the square footage of your home or whatever and divide that by the amount you pay in mortgage or rent, and then figure out the square footage that that product is taking up, and that's what it's costing you every single month. That is what that product's costing you, and you can sell it and you can create more cash flow into your business, and then have Amazon be the icing on the cake. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm not doing 40K months and all that stuff, but I'm also not working any more than 15 to 20, maybe 25 hours a week. And most of it is doing other creative projects that I want to do. And I also live in Puerto Rico. So I'm at a proximity problem, is what I call it. I have a proximity or distance problem where I can't get a lot of bigger, higher value things. But if you are in the United States, which is where I ran my business for majority of the time, there's huge opportunity to work with brands if you know what they want, if you know the type of content they're looking for, and if you can show up and produce that type of content. Because companies all over the world are looking for either influence or content. They're buying one or the other, and luckily you can probably provide both in your situation. So over the last few years, I have been coaching people. I've been doing one-on-one coaching, I've been doing workshops, I've been doing mastermind groups, and every time the conversation ends like, "Do you have this in a document somewhere? Like, can you just give this to me so I can reference it back? Like, you gave me a ton of information, ton of ideas, a ton of strategies, but it'd be nice to have it all in one place." So I want to introduce to you the Making Money Playbook. Of course, I had to do a play on Maybe Money and mark that out for Making Money. And this book is like 21 pages, and this is a deep dive into 7+ Amazon influencer strategies that I have. It's really 8 influencer strategies that I have inside of this book, and it goes through everything. So not only do you get this, but you also get my brand deal toolkit, which is going to be my scripts. It's going to be all of the inbound, outbound scripts, anything that I say to brands or any way that I work through deals with brands. All that stuff is going to be inside of that playbook. And you also are going to get a brand deal tracker that I created for you so you can track those deals if you don't have a way to track them. So once again, I really appreciate you watching this video, and my goal is just to help you out. So I kept this at a lower price than what my mentor said. They said I should sell for a lot more. I'm going to sell it for $47 starting out. Now, I might be forced by peer pressure to up that rate, but right now I'm going to keep it locked in at $47 for you. And this is the full playbook, the full business model of what I've done over the last 4 years to generate 6 figures in profit every single year on average. And this book breaks it all down. People have been asking me for it for years, and so here it is. If you have any questions, you can join my free community. It's going to be linked down below with the link to this book as well. And I hope to see you on the inside.